Hey all, double 18 Set Shadow here. We're nearing the end of BSF for the North American region, although for the European and East regions, they'll continue for the next month into July. So with that, though, that's going to have some more effect on the rest of the market, at least for the US, when it comes to TCG player prices. And we'll be going over more drops that we're seeing across the market at this point as we start to move into Set 5. But the first thing to note is that, well, the Ultimate Rare of Israfil has completely sold off the market with a number of listings that were up there for around 170 plus, and they all just sold over this past Memorial Day weekend. So yeah, this card still sells pretty hot despite the current market as it is, and now there are just no copies left. So if you were hoping that this thing was getting cheaper anytime soon, that did not happen, and it's not going to happen for some time from the looks of it. Mars Silent General has more or less stabilized in price when it comes to the regular legendaries. There hasn't been much change in the base or evolved form, which are around 13 and 6 to 7 respectively when it comes to their base and market prices. The Super Legendary is out of stock right now with a market price of $17.67, but that's only on the base form. The Legendary still has 7 listings available and is currently at $11.54. Mars has potential to see more play as we keep going along, and seeing the Super Legendary just kind of always short on listings or out of stock like this, I mean, given what we've seen with most of the market, I don't think it's going to shoot up too much, and even if it does, I feel like it'll end up being short-lived. World Wielder Ginger is still a really cheap legendary to pick up for a rather obscure deck that you can build for Runecraft right now, which is effectively a control deck with big legendary followers, or sorry, I should say big neutral followers, like Israfil, Bahamut, and so forth. But the card itself is still dollars to pick up for its regular and Evo form. And if you want the super legendary versions, those ones are significantly more expensive right now. $13 for the base form super legendary, and if you want the Evo, it's $8.69 for its base price. And the interesting thing is that the market price of the super legendary base is actually $21.42. Looking at that, it's not selling. It hasn't sold since the beginning of the month, which is definitely a big contributing factor. It initially sold for $25 and made its way down to $18. Available listings right now, we have a good amount of copies for $14.50 over here. If you still want to give this deck a try, it looks fun. I just haven't gotten to try it. Venomfang Medusa has been seeing a little bit of play in the BSF tournaments, just not too much. As a legendary, though, it's still one of the cheapest to pick up on the market as well, where the base legendary is currently $1.47 with a market price of $1.73. The super legendary is not that far away at a base price of $5 and then $11.98. Though, just to be sure, yeah, even with shipping considered, it's still basically a $5 card. And if you want the ultimate rare version, this card is currently about $65 to pick up, and the base 3 listings also have it right around that point. Snow White has been seeing a decrease in listing cost, although its market price has stayed relatively stable up to this point. $14.41 is the current market price, and we now have 18 listings available on this legendary, but the base price is now $8.25, and we have listings, a lot of copies actually, that are underneath $10 again. However, it's still much higher than the original $2 that this card used to be at, so you're still making out ahead if you pick this up very early. Amethyst Lion's Foil, this is another one to keep in mind for all the different aggro-based decks for Havencraft. The foil has not been seeing that much of a change in its price, where market price right now is $1.90, and then we've got listings that have them selling for above $3. And in terms of availability, most of them are available at $3 right now, with a few copies that you can pick up closer to 2 at this point. Again, this is for the foil version. It is more readily available given that it is a bronze for just its bronze. Rise Shower has been continuously going down in value as of late too, at a base price of $176 and a market price of $331 at this point. And recently we've had listings that one did sell for over $4, but we have listings. Okay, so it's not exactly as low as I would think, but there are 2 listings under $2. After that, it actually gets back up to $4.3. But ultimately, that's still a drop from how it used to be around $5-6. And with the constant random increases it had to go to 10, it's not hitting that at this point and has moved all the way back down. Riko Kashimoto has also dropped for its regular legendary, where this card had been seeing a lot of hype, putting it up into the $20 range and higher for a little while, but we're seeing sales at $11.50. The market price is still $16.50, but we have a lot of quantities at $12 or lower right now, drastically decreasing the price of this card and making it, well, like a lot of other things, a lot more affordable. Same goes for Heavenly Aegis, where this deck has just fallen off quite a lot, given that while it's a strong deck, it just doesn't have enough edge to deal with the aggro and mid-range that's available in this format. Currently, the price is $4 for the base listing, and the market price is $4.64. It is still selling at around $4, and with Set 5 coming, it will breathe a little new life into Aegis, but probably not enough to keep it afloat. In any case, it's still significantly cheaper to build this deck now, given the fact that this card, being one of the key cards, is much cheaper than it used to be. And other big cards from Set 1 have been dropping in value as well between their high rarity and low, like Cerberus, where we now have 40 listings on the base form legendary there, and 33 listings on the super legendary. This was one of those super legendaries where there was enormous hype around it, raising the price all the way up to the $60 mark, and now we have a base price of $14.51 with a market price that's dropped all the way to $27. And then when it comes to the Evo, it's still very easy to pick up for the regular legendary, whereas the super legendary is still holding at a decent value. $14 overall for market price and for its base listing. And overall, though, it's got less listings than its base form super legendary, which is also interesting to see. But as for the price of the regular legendary, it's, like I said, 40 listings, and the base price is currently $670, which is lower than the market price of $926 right now. Going back to Merlin, I noticed that the price on this had also taken a decline on the legendary. It had been moving up into the $15 range again, where market price is currently $14, but that base legendary now has listings as low as $10.95, where if we look at that in some more detail, we have a lot of quantities that are also available at those low listing rates, which are underneath $12. Now, we're not going to see a lot more big movement on Rune until we get to set 6. So, if you do want to pick this up, this is probably the best time to do so, as Merlin almost never goes under $10. And then Merlin's Evo, which I had noted was going back up in value. Currently, it's still underneath its market price of $8.23 for its lowest listings, but it's slowly moving back up there for all the listings that are currently available otherwise. And our final card today is the legendary of Jeanne d'Arc, which had been seeing a decline for some time, but it's progressively just been moving back up with a market price now at $4.43, and it's been selling around $5 with lots of quantities available at that point, and the first page doesn't really get away from that $5 mark. John is a great control card for Havencraft, and overall it's just a great control card for Havencraft, which also gives you some good defense on top of that. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.